Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Bitcoin report for Monday, April the 11th. This particular account here is interesting because it's pretty much in line with the other assets around the world. So such as US banks, for example. So we're still expecting one more move down for US banks. So the rally that we've had here has been in line with those types of assets. So this move up here hasn't even reached its 50%. This is probably about 45% at this particular stage, so we would sort of expect it to be a little bit higher up into the 50,000, but if we get any more downside from where we are now, then we'll have to call that in at that point. It's just a little bit low, and we still expect indices and US banks to have another rally to the upside, so we'll probably go with that. But yeah, look, this is just a pattern that's in line with the US banks. Okay, so we can leave it at that for the time being. Now we're looking at a few different patterns on the bullish side. We know the on-chain analytics are seeing folks not basically selling, but we're not seeing any buyers come in as well into this market. We know that that institutions that have got money in the bond market are not really getting the returns, and some of the big institutions are looking at Bitcoin, and some of them, it's trickling into some of balance sheets on those institutions. So that will be the main driver for the years to come in all of that. But that's kind of where we are at the moment. From me, in my perspective, even though I've got a few different accounts, I would only be bullish if we had a classic trading levels pattern on that 50,000. I know I keep harping on about that. So getting the first high above here doesn't do the trick. We still need to get this, and then we need to get this. We need to buy any new highs coming down from the top, and then that would cement that in as a bullish move. And that's quite possible with all of this. The only trouble is that this is not the best looking move count to the upside, so that's a bit. This is questionable as being one and two, or you could probably. I mean, I find that a nice 5-wave structure. I find that a nice 3-wave structure. You could look at this as wave 1 and 2 as well. We could also look at there's 5 waves in this move from this low here, pulling back into this particular box here. So we can view it as an impulse wave building at the beginning of the trend. But like I said, we need to get that classic trading levels pattern on the 50,000 at that point. So that's what we're looking for there. The most likely pattern at this particular point is the triangle pattern. Yeah, so 3 waves or WXY here, and looking at this from this low here, we can count 5 waves up here. It's pulled back 61.8%, and then we're looking for another 5 waves up here, a 3-wave move for this Y of D, and then the ABC here. So this is probably a logical pattern for all of this. If this breaks down further from here, then we've got a problem at that point, and then we would need to bring. Well, I can't bring that D wave in here. It's just too small. It doesn't make any sense in terms of the relationship between wave A, B, and C here for that. So we'll be seeing more downside if that pushes down through here. Well, let's just say if the 42,000 became the retested resistance, would need to see a nice clean sort of pattern like this. If that was the bear, if that's 42,000 coming through there, it could go back above the level, but basically once you got that low in here as your reference point, once that's breached, then you know that we're going to be pulled down to the 40,000. If we're down at the 40,000, then we're kind of in a bear. I mean, it's obviously good support at 40,000, but from this high, low to this high here would be we're at the 61.8% here at the moment. So we need to see the S&P 500 push up from this current low, and also Bitcoin as well. So if the 42,000 becomes the retested resistance, then we've got a bit of an issue at that point, and we'll have to call this particular rally in at that stage and label it a little bit differently. But otherwise, this would be the pathway for that triangle pattern, and we can take a closer look at that on the 4-hour chart here. So a W here, then an A, B, C, D, E here for this X here, and there's 5 waves up into this move here. This makes a nice ABC back into this current low here, and also the 61.8%. So really we need to see this push up from this point. It's as simple as that. If the 42 becomes the resistance and it drops down to here, then we'll need to revisit this in some other way, because from this high here, well, I might go to more of an intraday count just to have a look at that section in there. So let me just bring in a little bit more data here for this. So from the top there, this is from the X here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here for that. And here makes the A wave, because I kind of like this. This is not impulsive, it's a corrective move here, making the rest of this corrective as well. So that's why I'm going this way. An ABC for the B wave, 1 and 2, and 1 and 2 here. And then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the third wave, and ABC for the fourth, and then for the fifth of the third, and then the fourth and the fifth. So it's pretty much at its low at the moment, so we need to see it push up from that 42,000. It's pretty much simple as that, really. So if that is the case, we'll see 5 waves up here. And it could be part of the triangle if it gets up here, or it could be a more bullish move at that point with the 1s and the 2s in that space. So yeah, so that's kind of it in a nutshell. We just need to see what happens. It's a pretty complicated sort of pattern here, but when you look at some of the others, like Solanus and that, these here can count quite nicely as wave 1 in these moves here. So it's possible to look at this as wave 1 and 2 as well, and 1 and 2 here. So the bullish move is not, is not out of the picture just yet. If we go back to this daily chart here with this one here, this is a running flat correction, and looking at this as 1 and 2. Now I've got 1 and 2 here, but you could probably look at this as wave 1 and 2 here, and 1 and 2 here as well, and then 1 and 2 and building to the upside. But like I said, unless we get the support at the 50-60% retracement level on the 50,000, well, then we just need to be cautious, and we need to look at this being corrective at this point. So it's a bit of a waiting game within all of this. Nothing really else to say at this point, except for hodlers to keep purchasing at these lows, or any new lows as well. If you need to be inspired about that, you can look at the obviously you've probably watched the Miami Bitcoin 2022 conference, which is some great speakers there. And yeah, alrighty, I'll leave it at that. Cheers.